ArtsyPantsLisa. I know what your name is. And we're going to be doing a video on the do's and don'ts of role-playing. And this was requested by Elias Morales.
Elias
Okay,
Morales,
thank you. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. But anyway, they just said they wanted us to do something that revolved around the do's and don'ts of RPing or making an RP and how to make a good RP, which we may actually be talking about that on Lisa's channel soon. If not, she uploaded that before I did. That would be really confusing. But anyway,
whichever way. One on each channel.
Oh yeah, we're both making videos close to this. Like, I'm doing the do's and don'ts, she's doing how to make a good roleplay. And we're going to be having both of us have 3 points, and we're going to talk about those points after we say them. So we're starting off here with Lisa's first point she wrote down she wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so my first point is your character is not you. Basically that means, like, so many people get too attached to their characters and don't want to allow them to even consider losing a battle or anything like that. So they try to make them as perfect or as strong as possible.
Oh my gosh, and I know exactly what you mean. I used to roleplay with someone who their character was them, which made it really awkward because you know how most characters, you maybe ship someone to someone else, or you may have relationships in there, and it's really awkward when someone's character is just themselves, 100%, and you can tell.
Yeah, and it ends up like you saying, my OC that, like, for example, my OC, Jonathan, is shipped with someone whose OC has the same name as them. It's so awkward.
I know, I hate that. It's so awkward. It's
Jonathan
just unnerving.
Susan.
I don't know how to deal with that because, like, when someone's OC, even if they don't have the same name as themselves and they act 100% like themselves, or they say like they're themselves, like they have the exact same apartment or they have the exact same where they live, and you know they're being themselves even though they're a little different. And that just makes role-playing rather awkward unless everyone is doing that. Then at that point, it's not role-playing, so I'm confused. I don't know.
It's just kind of being yourselves, but fictional self.
Yeah, it's like a fictional self.
I mean, like, I don't usually mind it when people make personas. I mean, that's obviously totally okay. I have a ton of fan character personas. A lot of my fan characters
and, like, a lot of fandom
me.
Personas are always fun.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, whenever you're trying to roleplay with someone and it's apparent that the character is based on you and they basically are you, like, most of my personas have different personalities, so they're not all the same girl. They all have different names. They all have similar looks to each other because it's based on me, obviously.
And I mean, it's totally cool. It's totally cool if people, like, wanted to have, like, a character that is themselves, if everyone's, like, going for that. But when it's only one person in a group of people that aren't, it's really confusing.
I mean, yeah. If it oh gosh.
Well said. I just smacked my mic.
Oh no. Yeah, I heard that. Earthquake.
Yes.
But yeah, if it's like a group of a bunch of people making original characters that aren't based on you, and then you're the only one basing your character on you and making it basically you, that is pretty kind of awkward and weird.
Yeah, it's really awkward. Especially when the person takes anything you do towards their character as, like, a personal offense.
A personal attack.
And then they write you privately and, like, hey, are we cool? Are you mad at me?
Yes.
And I'm like, no, my character's mad at you, not me.
Exactly. That's so hard to deal with. It's like, are you mad at me? No, it's your character. Remember, your character is you.
Yeah, it's so confusing. But anyway, okay,
that
my
kind of
first
stuff
point
can lead into your
my first point, it leads into it because my first point is god modding. And all I say here is if everyone is a deity, no one is, and that's very true. If someone is a character, god modding is pretty much everyone wants to be so overly powerful and they have no limits. None at all. No, they can just do anything. I'm gonna tell you a story, okay? We're doing story time.
Sit down, get your popcorn.
Get your popcorn. Okay. There was this time my brother ran a roleplay group, and it was all about superheroes. And I joined the group way back when I was younger, and I became Starfire from Teen Titans. All right, so in one of the role plays, I was fighting some bad guy, which was another role player, and it was just totally going as planned. Everything was okie dokie until randomly this guy decided it was okie dokie to pull out a button, press it, and tell me he blew up my entire planet.
What the heck? No.
I'm not even kidding. That actually happened. It was a joke amongst everyone in the roleplay place forever because it was like, how is that a thing? How can you just say you killed someone's entire planet?
That's so dumb!
In one post!
What the heck?
How could you do that in one post?
my next point too, though.
What is it?
Controlling other people's characters. It's one of my biggest pet peeves when people do that.
I know! It's so terrible, and I don't understand why people do that at all. It's triggering, really, because it's the whole thing.
When you're trying to roleplay with someone and they want it to go a certain way, they try to control your character and make them do what they want. For example, the one that you just mentioned where, oh, I want to win this battle, so here's a random button where I destroy your entire planet. Or like, my character walks by your character and their hair is such a flashy color. My character is just so clean on that your character is in awe or utter beauty.
I know! Oh my gosh, wait a second, you just reminded me of something. Okay, I was one time role-playing and my character, was known as being a very tomboyish, and they did not give a crap. They were one of those people that they never gave a crap about people in a relationship sort of way. Or they were never really attracted toward anyone at all. And then this other person came in, and no matter who they were with, they would tell you your character was falling in love with this person. And I was like, my character's not falling in love with you!
I hate that. Oh, my fiance, Toshi, he had this kind of same thing happen before too when he was role-playing with his blind OC, Lana. She's blind, it's in her character.
Oh no.
But then apparently the person he was role-playing with, apparently they were some magical person who, oh, I'm magic, I can heal your blindness.
Oh, that is so bad. Okay, that is like on the level of not killing off someone's character that isn't your own. It's trying to heal something that makes the person's character their character. That should be up to them if it works.
Exactly.
See, sure, you could attempt it, but it should be up to them whether it works.
Exactly. And then there's another time, there's one that I had encountered on DeviantArt back when I used to roleplay on DeviantArt. So there was this one time whenever I made a post asking people to, send me a note. I was role-playing as my OCs, Jaden and Cody Hartling on DeviantArt with someone who wanted to put them in some sort of horror situation with paranormal activity and stuff. Now me, being the OC's creator and all, I'm pretty sure they weren't going to a haunted house or anything, but they were walking around at nighttime going through an alleyway that had some ghost or something in it. I can't remember, but me being the OC's creator and all, I knew how they'd react better than the person I was role-playing with. And I made them scared spitless because, they were terrified,
Yeah.
I was like 15 or something. And so I made my characters like between 12 or 18. Mm-hmm. So these boys were like 12 and 13. And so they were scared.
Yeah.
So they were young enough to be scared of this paranormal stuff happening. And when I kept making them scared, this person I was role-playing with was legit pissed at me and trying to force my OCs to walk further when I told them that was out of character. I told them OOC out of character to don't control my OCs. They wouldn't do that, and they flipped their spit. They were like,
I don't understand. Why was that even a problem? You should be in charge of your OCs, and you shouldn't have to listen to anyone else of what your OC would do. It makes no sense.
Yes, I know, exactly. It did a number on how I felt about roleplaying with random people online, especially on DeviantArt.
Yeah, it's great when you can find a great roleplay group that will roleplay all these different things and they actually roleplay well. Because I can't stand it when there's bad roleplayers. Honestly, it's like, please stop. Okay, wait, we need to move on to the next thing, or else we're going to be going for like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Go on.
Okay, number 2 for me is stay in character. If your character is a kid, try speaking less like a poet.
Exactly, that kind of goes with what I was saying too. My characters were kids, they weren't ballsy.
Exactly. So that's the thing. When you have a character, say your character is 7, all right? And they're in this group, and the group is trying to figure out, they're like detectives, and they're trying to figure out who murdered who. Your kid character is not going to solve the mystery.
Your kid character is not going to be like, so I determined that at the end of the night, the killer must have gone to this room and done this thing.
Like, sure, you in your head as a role-playing would have ideas and be like, oh, I know who it probably is. But your character wouldn't. Your character wouldn't know anything about that. So it's important to, like, not think your character would. Like, staying in character is so important because or else you lose all immersion. And losing immersion is terrible.
Yes, and that kills the roleplay and that makes people drop off and basically say, nah, fam, I'm done.
Yeah, and it's just so much better when you stay in character and you be who your character is.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your next point?
It actually also goes in line with this one, so this is working out nicely.
Great.
But it's basically, I don't really know what to call it, but it's basically when characters know some information that they shouldn't. Like when they suddenly know certain information that you guys gave out of character that they couldn't possibly know outside of you knowing it as the admin or the creator or the role player.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, for instance, say maybe your character is off somewhere else, and then there's another roleplay going in the same universe where these other two characters are, say, somewhere else in the world. And then those characters decide to go do something, and they learn all this crazy knowledge, and they want to keep it from the others because, maybe it's something to do with the story. But then the others know about it and act like they do just because they read it in, the roleplay.
Oh my god, whenever the two groups of roleplays are off doing something else entirely, and then, suddenly someone gets an idea. I feel like so-and-so and so-and-so are doing something crazy.
Oh,
we better go back and make sure on them.
You're so right. That is so annoying.
Because
why would they know that?
I know. I mean, I do that sometimes with my fiance, as a joke. But we usually mean it as a joke. We do it ironically because we know that it's dumb. It's whenever I forget something and I make my character say, well, I don't remember this thing, Toshi whispers, it's this. I'm like, oh yeah, suddenly I remember. It's actually this, I
know exactly what you mean, because it's so hard. Sometimes people will separate, and I understand people slip up all the time and forget what their character has heard and hasn't heard, and that's hard sometimes when you read it all. But the worst is when someone tries to, they never ever want to be lose, or they never want their character to have someone lie to them, so they refuse to go along with the idea of them not knowing, and that is the biggest problem.
They don't want their character to be out of the loop, and so they really, really just want their character to know everything.
But that ruins immersion again. Can we just stick with our characters in character, and then that'll make it so much nicer?
Yes.
Okay, my next point is you don't always have to win. Losing makes for interesting character development. Yay! Woo! Yeah, well, it does, because that also goes into god modding, technically. And it also goes into what you were saying with characters who are too strong because someone always wants to make their character strong because they're trying to make their character themselves and they don't want themselves to be weak. So
exactly.
That's the same thing, is not losing. Is for instance, have you ever got into a roleplay and had this fight happen? Someone's like, I punch you, and then someone else is like, no, I dodge that punch 100%, and then instead I kill you. And you're like, wait,
yes.
What? What? Wait a second.
From 0 to 100! Straight up, I dodge it, and then I stab you, and you die.
No, but then it turns into you have to explain how you didn't die. And then you have to try, and then someone comes back and is like, no, I kill you. I know. Then he goes back and forth to everyone at the end of their big giant book post explaining how they dodged it to saying, I kill you at the end. Every single time. And it's
God.
Stop! Just stop, please! You don't have to have a super strong character to have a fun roleplay.
Exactly! That's why you need to have, some characters that are super strong and then some characters that aren't super strong.
Exactly.
Have them blend.
It is super fun to have some characters in the roleplay that don't always have to be yours. It could be someone else's. I mean, don't panic if you're not the strongest. But it's someone's character could be super strong and almost like a deity of the entire place. And you're like, that's so cool. But it has to be balanced. The character can't be press his button, your world blows up, It has to be a balance there. They have to be responsible with that power, and power is only cool when not everyone has it.
Exactly.
So it's really nice when people don't do that.
Yeah, that's why it's nice when people are willing to surround themselves around one particular king, queen, deity, whatever, and then make them their characters not the main focus type of big cheese type of thing.
Yeah, because in roleplays I've had, the big, giant, strong characters usually almost become a side character later on, because it feels like they're what's putting the world together and have the world having its rules is usually around those characters. They're the big overarching plot sort of thing, while the other characters are learning about them, and it makes them so mysterious and cool.
Yeah, and you have the series can be named after this deity, or based on this deity. but they're not a main character because they're what makes the world go around. They're the meat of the story, but they're not a main character.
But I don't want someone who's going to do that and make their character that, and then everyone makes their character that, and then suddenly everyone's having the wars of the gods, and I'm like, what is going on?
I know, right? It's Thor all over again.
Honestly, yeah, only less interesting.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of, I kill you, and they're like, nope, I kill you.
It's Thor if it was written by someone who didn't know how to write.
Yeah, honestly, it is so sad. But I said all my points. I think you got through your points too?
I did, and I think this is a good place to end.
Yeah, I think we got through about everything, and that was a lot of raging, but that's what you need to do to have a decent roleplay. And it's great to have conversations and talk to people about what is good for your roleplay and what is allowed, not allowed, before you start or something, or else it's going to turn into god modding everywhere.
Yeah,
Trust
but just
me, it happens.
Yeah, but obviously, like, have set rules, but don't make them too strict. Allow there to be some creativity.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
People can
you need to let people
want.
be able to do what they want, but also people need to be reasonable and responsible
there
with that power.
There needs to be a limit. There needs to be a limit.
Most people can make that limit for themselves. Like, you think they would be able to, like, figure that out, but I guess sometimes
it's usually common sense.
Yeah. But, anyway, if you guys have any other ideas for videos like this, leave a comment down below and we'll try to get to them. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.